That would be a Malik intro. Are you, by the way, able to, did you set yourself up so that it auto plays when you join? Or is that more of a, you're manually doing it every time? But that sounds weird. Can I take this off? I don't even know how. Is there like a ring to it? Right on. How do you...
To remove the windscreen SM7B microphone, find the plastic ring at the base of the windscreen, get your finger behind it, and simply pry it off. Don't pull or twist, as you may damage the foam or the metal cage. The SM7 also comes with a heavy-duty windscreen for up-close vocal applications.
There we go.
This will significantly cut down on the plosives and sibilants that you may experience with close-mic'd vocals. For a more open sound, you may prefer this mic with no windscreen at all.
So I'm making a blue one for fun. What do you think? Kind of cool? It works. Yeah. The other one was getting a bit dusty, so this is a new one. They're actually pretty cheap. They're like $5-10 tops. But yeah, I'm not working on a lot today. I'm curious though, how good does my clipping look? We're gonna go to Twitch real quick and just test how good the clip feature is. I'm really hoping I can get my... Oh, that looks perfect. Well, no, the left side is a little too much to the... I can fix that though. Nice. I like it. It actually looks pretty clean. I added the, I don't know what side you guys see it on. Yeah, the hero's journey. I put it up there. I thought that's kind of fun. Got pinged somewhere. Where did I get pinged? I can take over manipulation whenever it makes sense. So, trying to finish my Othmere farm. Basically, I need to get just a little bit more and I'll be done with tailoring and can start doing like quivers and stuff. It's tedious. How's the sound on that for you guys, by the way? How loud is that? Doesn't seem to be very loud. Not bad. What's up, Kelper? Yeah, you're getting like 25% with that, where my volume's about, you know, the 100% with a bit of range for when I'm really loud. So all that gave me 2. Which is fine. I could go kill the north side too, but whatever. They're all about. Yeah. I did revamp. Pretty cool little thing for like dragging windows on Crit Sprinkler and ShinSpark. I was getting a little tired of the UI. I didn't spend a ton of time on it. I did work on ROF2 Plus yesterday, like I mentioned. I also did a lot of work on Quail. We've been working on a branch that does like a tree view. And pretty good milestones. We're not quite there yet for G-Equip. When G-Equip finishes, you'll be able to mod items like weapons and stuff a lot easier, especially classic. So pretty much once I finish that, I think the first project I'll work on is restoring all the OG weapons and armors. Well, not armors, but weapons. I feel like that's a welcomed regression, I guess. But yeah, let's go ahead and go to full screen. Right on, dude. Congrats. Are you missing it? Are you just using the caffeine alternatives for now? Are you regressing that as well a little bit? I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to draw these drag windows after all of the elements. And then I'm going to give them like a 50% transparency. The color is RGB. What is 50% of FF? $127 is 7F. If this works. That's good. All right, so you can see here, there's now this overlay. I need to fix these UI windows. For some reason, the X and the Y of these, a little off. Health window and health target are set here. They're based on health window and health target, aren't they? Yeah. And health window target is defaulting with an X that's significantly higher, but for some reason, I don't think so, Cyvenge. Like without even looking. But yeah, you see how there's this like black bar on it now? That black bar lets you drag drop. And look, you can drag it on the left side now too, which is nice. But yeah, even the description of Vehement Rage says the damage you do, I guess it doesn't describe it, but if you go to my AA breakdown, is Vehement Rage not on there? God damn it. I really need to fix that at some point. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's melee only. I feel like I've checked that before. So. But yeah, that's awesome. Less sugar is always good. Okay, so I got a weird issue where these are overlapping. Let's try to do something like that. Like, why are these drawing at the same location? Very weird. Makes me think that I messed up instantiation. So health target me, health target window. Health target me is based on a config of me. Health target window is based on health window target. Those look perfect. Oh, it's actually this. I need to clean up this location stuff a little bit. Might do it. Yeah, see, I got a weird issue where health and target are rendering on the same window. And well, you can see here though that health is technically not as wide. There we go. Don't know why that happened, but got a crash. Doesn't like, obviously this is new code. We'll have to clean it up. But it is overall working. What I'm going to do for a moment is block comment out all of this. And just have the two windows drawn. The health and target overlap a lot. I think that has to do with my default settings. So health window me, the Y is actually, we want the Y to be identical, but basically it'll be like 400 to, let's say 900, and then it'll be like 1000, 1500. That shouldn't overlap at all. But it is. See here. It's badly overlapping. How is that happening? Health window me. Is it in the INI? No. Huh. So if you look at the debugger messages down here, what is I'm coding? This is a couple overlays that I've been working on for EQ. And yeah, I'm cleaning up this like overlay system. I think it's gonna look a lot better. We'll get it going here in a sec. I'll be jumping between a couple projects today. Started streaming today. Oh, that's a huge delay for me to actually start. Anyways, yeah, we got a weird bug where the render location almost seems like it's sharing it between 2 of them. Technically, it'll work on both. It'll work on any ROF2 client. So new window target, new window health. See, I'm using window rec, and that's based on location. The value isn't getting carried over properly. Why not? So health window printed here. We do a new function. It passes location. It sets location as window rec. We set the location based on that. That may be where it's at. The set location function's not working right. Let's think about this. So a window rectangle is equal to the incoming rectangle min x max. Do like a new window pre. See if this is where the edit is. Yeah. So my that location, which looks harmless, I have a feeling it's my update location and how I'm clamping. Yeah, see, now it looks clean and how I want it, where there's 2 elements on the bottom of the screen. So why is this happening? When I do an update location, I'm taking the window rec and I'm taking a copy of it. And I'm doing clamps to make sure that it's within the bounds of the screen. And if the bounds don't match, I update. So there's something buggy with set locations bounding. So it has to do with this code. What did I do wrong here? Oh, the rectangle new rect. Being clamped based on the width and 0. Right? But according to this, maybe the window size hasn't been instantiated yet, and that's why the window is so messed up. Let's test that. Yeah. So before the screen actually renders, you see the width and the height. It's actually set to 640 by 480, and we're clamping based on that. Okay, so we're rendering UI elements. Do something like is init And this is where we do the clamping. Because the moment these windows happen, update location will be triggered. I guess we don't need this to be a value though as an argument. What we can do instead is go create a variable in the struct, and we will set it here, and then set it to false when we're done. That might fix it. So basically there's a one-time exception. Perfect, that fixed it. Now we have 2 health bars. You can see we can now freely edit them with dragging each side and just clean. How clean that is compared to before. Now I still have a bug with targeting, like a nil pointer reference, but we can fix that now. Apparently text is nil. Weird. This whole code needs to get cleaned up, honestly. It's getting a little overwhelming for what it's supposed to do. All we really need is position of X. Well, let's leave it like this for now. We don't need to do a revamp just yet. But let's fix this bug. So essentially, health, calling a draw, and it's informing me there's a nil pointer reference. What element? Is it bold 36 face? It's never declared. Oh yeah, it's never instantiated. So bold 36 face. That'll probably fix it. Took out the new window instantiation. Okay. Now we have the health bars. They're obviously oriented wrong, but you know, I'm testing. I made it where that window for target isn't there unless a mob is targeted. I think that looks better. Target name, it seems bugged. Which fine. Let's clean up the layout a little bit though. Go back in here and just go like this now. When they overlap, it's a little hard to work with. I'll probably just steal a lot of ideas from Elf UI for actual layout. Basically, you know, something like that. I'm pretty sure if I hit save, it saves the settings. Let's see. Yep. Cool. Now the health bars aren't rendering the whole screen because they were designed to be half and halves. So here, the health width can be full now. And the same for here. I think that's all I have to do. Yep. Now mob target only renders if the mob name only renders if we have spawn data. And since these mobs were spawned since the last time I loaded, they come up as empty. I think that's a decent sacrifice. I guess I could put a word there like mob or even their spawn ID. But it's fine. Anyways, it's working really good now. Another thing I want to add is casting. So now that I have this framework, I could put this also into the cast window and make it so I can see when the target's casting a spell. So maybe I'll do that real quick. I'm not in any rush to go do sleepers. Cool. So there's going to be cast window me, and then there's going to be cast window target. And we'll do the same bold 36 face. And we can take out pretty much all of this. The casting data might need to be tweaked. Even do. What should we call this? This would be like a cast context. And it'll be like, is it casting? When did the cast start? When does the cast end? What spell name is it casting? Cast times we can leave there. And then essentially all these can get removed, including all these. I don't know what last cast time is used for. Like a snapshot. Okay. So we just added a bunch context. So we're going to go cast context me target. And then on new instantiation, hey Bill, how's it going, dude? We're going to go ahead and add these contexts into the element. We're also going to instantiate the UIs. So cast window me. Which font did we use to load? Yeah. You can take that out. Put in the font. The text will actually be nothing. Speaking of, I actually need to add that. Easy to do though. Set text. String. Do that. Done. Okay. Next. Cast window target. This technically needs that. Okay. We don't need the 9 slicing anymore. We don't need the title data. We don't need any of this. This is all the junk I'm removing by making this new style, which is nuts how much I've cleaned it up. All right, so when edit mode gets set, exactly, that's all this needs. And then when it's updating, we need to get the context. So if cast context me is casting. So if I'm not casting, then we don't need the cast window to be visible. And we can also check for that. Basically, don't render the window if I'm not casting. Actually though, I don't even need this. This will be during render. This does need though. We're gonna do the same thing. Target. Now cast reset, we can take all these elements and put them as a function on this. So like casting is false. There. So this cast reset can now be removed. And instead, perfect. Okay. Now progress is interesting. I think I can do progress. I don't need to update these labels, I don't think. This stuff will go into draw. Okay. In fact, where's the draw call? We don't even have it, so. All right. So on the very end, we're going to go cast window me, draw, and target. That'll draw the overlay so we can set the location of these items. Now we need to make these progress bars. And this will be based on visibility. So like if cast window me is visible, then we're going to render a bunch of stuff. Basically the rectangle for the progress bar. On resize, this all can be removed and it'll be that. Yep, it knows what I'm doing. Cast event. We can likely go away from cast event. We don't need it anymore. Putting it on the right for safekeeping though. All right, so you're about to start casting. There's a cast event. We actually need to know our target. But basically we go, if spawn my ID equals uint32 response caster ID, then we're going to set all this element data up here. You're going to basically say, yeah, that's actually pretty good. We don't need the word me, we can just response. Well, we got to look up the spell name, which isn't currently in here. Well, it's right here. So it's spell name by ID, and then font spell ID, something like that. Last spell ID set, last cast time is set. We don't need, I don't know why I'm resetting cast event after that, but we can just delete that for now. Okay. So we do the same thing now. If spawn target ID, and then we do all the context. Now we're adding data about the spell that our target is currently casting. Perfect. Now there's another event called cast spell. And this is very similar to what we just wrote. but this actually starts the spell casting activation. So we need to first validate if the target. This is only with us. Only triggered for us. This means that every element that's being updated can just be cast context me like that. Spell target ID. I don't know if we actually use that. Maybe we should. Because that's kind of cool. Except the problem is it'll only be context for my spell bar. So whatever. Okay, so now we have an interrupt event. Let's just make a function that is the equivalent of interrupt. So we'll just do and the reason I wrote a new method for this, now interrupt cast has a spawn ID on it. So basically if spawn my ID equals the spawn ID that triggered this, same thing with target. Those are the only two mobs we care about if an interrupt happens. Now whenever you zone, then we can reset. That part's still good. Okay. So that pretty much revamped it all to allow us to do player and target casting context. So the next thing is got to clean up the drawing. So the cast progress is going to be based on seconds. And we need cast window me added to some of these. Do we have cast start? I thought we did. Oh, it's not window, it's cast context me. Pretty much all of these are now just added to a struct for context. And okay, so the progress bar, this is going to be closer to what I did on health, which is I take this window data, kind of like this, and we set position info. So let's just do that. So position X of the progress bar. This is for the rectangle actually that we care about. This is label data and this is drawing data. We could potentially copy paste a good chunk of this. And repurpose it. So we know that cast progress is going to be the number of seconds left. We need to put that into a float. We times it by 1,000 and then we subtract. We'll see what that value is. Let's assume that it is proper. This is cast window me. We can take out the muxer, mutex lock, and this will be cast context me spell name, and the target name code is going to be removed out of this. Because now this stuff will be here. Basically, if we have a target and you've enabled the window to be rendered, then we're going to take all of these me contexts from the target, and then this will also be target. And okay, so we have a window rec. We're rendering the square for it. We're going to be doing a progress bar. This value is being divided by 100, but I think cast progress might already be a float. We could also put seconds remaining on the field. We actually had that before. Did I remove it? Pretty sure I did. But we can go look at our history and find that real fast. It's gonna be here. No. Right here. So if we just take this part, we can pop that in here. And then add in the context again. And that'll make it have the countdown again. Interesting, bold 34 face was added. Do we want bold 34 face? Feels a little big. I want this thing to be tiny, but we'll mess with that after we're done. Okay, so now cast progress and seconds remaining are applicable. We could actually take them like inlined, like so. Health window, we could do this as cast window, right? Okay. Pretty much, we can just paste this now and remove every instance of me and put target instead. But there's not a lot. And they highlight whenever you double click, so. Okay. So if the window's visible and all that, the last thing we need to do is instantiate the windows on creation with their own context, like that. So we go to config. We currently have cast window. We're going to change this to me and target. And give them unique config names. And in theory, it's workable now. Let's find out. All right, so the windows are not rendering. There's issue number one. I mean, it's possible they are, and we just can't see them. One issue is, let's put in here the actual windows. Cast me, cast target, because that's only used on the editor anyways. We are not seeing it. Let's go ahead and take our health window debuggers, which we did in new, and let's put them in here for a moment. Cast me, because like I don't know where this position's being decided on. 600 by 900, 10 by 20. So this thing's really tiny. It's a 10 pixel high element. I don't actually see where it's rendering. Ah, I know why. Because main has no draw call to it, because I added that. So if we go to draw, and we just put in here cast draw, We also might need to do the resize and edit mode cleanup too. I need to create like a pub subsystem at some point. I don't have to do this manually every time. Cast and on resize. Okay. Now we got to panic. What do we got to panic about? Cast window is attempting to draw probably bolt 32 face, and bolt 32 face never got instantiated. I love how I can go to an area of code that I know that I would normally write this, and Copilot's like, oh, you probably are actually wanting bolt 32 face here. All right, so we have them. You can see them down here. There's cast target and me target. They're on the same render location though. Let's figure out why. Cast window target, cast window me. This might be similar to our old issue. I thought we fixed this. Let's see what the target and the me are. So yeah, see, they're pulling the exact same data. Why? Oh, it's because we never set the data. So we know that this location is technically going to be identical to like target me. So what we'll do is say 400 height 921 to 1001. So let's do like 1002 by 900. And what's the difference between, there's an 80-point difference. So then we go, we'll do like 40. And we'll do it, so 1042. So the Y will be identical to both. And then this would be 1000, 1500. And this should put them stacked right on top of each other. Which they did. Cast me is wider for some reason than health. I don't know why that happened. Why did that happen? Or maybe it was more, oh, we have some bugs there. Let's actually take the X or the Y axis here and make it like 821 instead of 921, and then make this 901. Because it's a little too low. Maybe I'll put the cast bars above it though. Yeah, put it down there. And then cast window me, instead of being on 1002, X, Y, Y is 1002. Do this just to make editing this a little easier. So cast window me needs a Y that's a little less. So we'll just do 21 minus 40. So 781 to 821. And the same with this 821. Okay. Don't fully know why A, it went over here, and B, why it's being located a little left. So let's go test it in game. Obviously, the numbers are wrong, and it's also not capturing cast events very well. Let me flop. Get this a little bit more. What did we do that's making these render weird? Well, first of all, If we're not casting, we don't want to render these either. Second of all, how do we know if we're casting? That should be triggered by begin cast. Casting gets flagged as true. There was some code in here that reset it to is casting as false, which is in reset. I think we're fine with that. Let's test that. You're level 50 on this character, and my meditate skill is 42. I believe it's Ivenge. Very easy to fall into that trap. Hey, look at that. That shaman just casted Blast of Poison, and now he's casting Incapacitate. And now he's casting Blast of Poison again. Obviously, the casting window is a little long. It's because it can go sub-0. That's funny. So obviously, I'm not properly cleaning this up. If time now is after the cast end point, how are we setting cast start and cast end, actually? So when we begin casting, we set the cast time, and the cast end is here. We're taking now, we're adding milliseconds based on the thing. So is reset not working? Totally is. Maybe it's because I'm rendering the window when casting is still, I mean, it's true. Seconds remaining. Yeah. Let's just try that again. It's probably because I have the is casting false. Well, first of all, I don't know who I am. That's why the cast didn't work there. Now I do. This is looking pretty good. So I'm stopping properly, but in target is not. I'm pretty sure cast spell is only done for self. I mean, I even said that there. We're getting the begin cast. I mean, we can do a couple fixes for this. I just don't know why this is failing. If the cast end is finished, then we reset. At least we can test this easily without even fighting a mob. It's like resetting it over and over and over. That's interesting. So let's go ahead and do rune. Okay. This makes me think that target casting is not resetting properly. Cast contact. I guess. Or is the update call being called? It has to be. Right? Let's see. It is not. Oh, I have a return. I don't need these to return. What's happening is when I finish casting, it's gating the rest of the code. Yeah, see, now we're getting a massive amount of reset targets. We should also do this. If you know, because if we're not casting, we don't need to do this reset. Because that's really what reset does, is it just sets it to 0, but yeah. Okay, so we're going to con ourselves. And we're going to cast. Perfect. Okay, let's go find a shaman. And there you go, blast the poison, and it finishes. And you can see by his animations that it's perfect. Gotta admit, that's pretty cool. That you can now see targets and what they're spelling, what spell a target is casting. He's trying to root me. Still need some cleanup, but it's moving along. Basically given up on casting on me. Maybe when he gets low health, he'll heal himself. Nope, he's dead. So this guy, I think, is a caster. Let's find out. Yep, blast of venom. It's going to be really cool if you're like an enchanter or a paladin and you're trying to, you know, interrupt heals on a target. Being able to see context of the target you're actively healing is huge on EverQuest. Yeah, I don't think NPCs have spell haste, Sivenge. And if they do, it gets announced to me. Announced to me via packet, announced to your client. I don't know. Let me try like slamming. Or what is it, bash? I'm gonna try to interrupt him and see. He said I failed, but cool. See how it immediately stopped? So I am picking up the interrupt calls and actually showing that. So that's huge because now you can actually tell when you're interrupting someone or not. Going well, Broken Stoic. As you can see, I'm revolutionizing EverQuest junk. He's dispelling me? Rude. I'm basically making ElvUI for EverQuest. Cool. Ready for tomorrow? And look how easy dragging things is now. So nice. I kind of forget how ElvUI does this part, but let's say we'll take the window and just do something like this. And we'll set the font real quick. Yeah, Day, what's happening tomorrow? I'm not catching text. Let's shrink the font though. So we're using a Bold 36 font, and I have a library of different fonts. I feel like I do think maybe 24 will be enough. Let's test that. Oh, gotcha. Let's see how the cast bar looks now. I feel cast again. He's been wasting his mana quite a bit. That looks pretty good, right? Obviously, I need to orient the text to the left more, or maybe center. It doesn't need to be on the right like it is right now. Yeah, see, look at that. That's clean. What happens when multiple mobs are casting at once? Does it stack? No. So it only is picking up your active target. So every time, it's only your target that you're getting context. It's not all the mobs. It basically works the exact same way that LVOI does it, so. Are you going to change the colors of the health bars and stuff? Yes. I need to make an interface to make it easier for you to change colors.
Dregasty just subscribed.
The general issue I have with everything I'm working on is it's constantly evolving, and I'm having like regressions and improvements and refactors. And so, you know, I keep tweaking things a little bit and just trying to figure out what feels right. Got a little shaman in there. Where's the shaman? It's actually a pain in the butt to target mob there. Let's see, are you casting? What are you casting? I could add a system where like all active targets, if they cast, you know, get an event, but well, you're not casting at all after I've targeted you. Weird. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. This was a pretty good success for me. Why isn't EMF applying? It is. Why am I? Oh, I'm just not floating because of where my camera angle was. All right, so this Quingle dude, he casts. So he's trying to root me and snare me. And it's so nice to know what a mob is trying to do to you, because normally you're just getting resisted, so you don't care. Now, so you can tell he's a druid by his spells. He's just trying to dot me up. In fact, he did land Form of Pain. But yeah, if you switch targets, you can see the other target and what they're doing. I don't have it where it's smart though. Like for example, if you constantly swap targets, I'm not keeping a cache of active spells. Might have to do that later. So then you can flip through mobs and see if they're healing. But I mean, I just prototyped it. the fact that it's working is pretty cool. I'll probably go raid the orders real quick and we'll see how much spell casting they do. So, but yeah, what does ElvUI do for color? ElvUI in action. There's like all these.
Now we're gonna
right.
hide your bars there for
I'm gonna ignore the class. That's an option. Like that's the thing with ElvUI is it's like
you're able to copy and
there's 100 bazillion ways to set it up.
And very bottom there, and here we go. Now to get into the main menu.
So the cast bar normally is very thin on the top. I'm pretty sure. And this is your mana.
If you add a vendor, it frames there. It appears. So next up,
I want to see it in action though, so I can get some. This guy's. I hate the thin bar. Is this even ElvUI? You'll notice in ElvUI, they render on the top right. The action bars. Okay, so there it is. So they say, wait, let's go find him casting again. So he's casting Victorious, and it's counting down from right to left with a countdown of 0.1s as a rightmost text. I could repeat that if I wanted. No, I know. As I just said before I looked at this broken, I'm fully aware that ElvUI is extremely customizable and there's a bazillion ways to set it up. I'm just looking at examples to like clean up mine. So what I'll do, at least for now, is take the 0.2 and turn it into 0.1. And I'll make it so that cast seconds. Do I put the S on it? I probably should. 0.1. I do not. I'll put a little S on it. Is there a way to make the bar happen? There's a way to make everything work more, but that requires me to code it. So there you go. See, I like the 0.0s, 0.1fs. That feels a little cleaner. If I do lay it out similar to what he just did, what I actually need to do is I'll take these operations, center it, put it on the end, and we'll first render countdown. Or I guess second render that. And then also we can text draw on the screen the spell name. And now we can set the end here. What this should do, I think I just did this with target though. I want to do it with myself as well. So like this goes here, take this, make this spell name, and then turn this in 2 seconds, and remove spell name. And what this just did is kind of similar to what you just saw as a sample. Well, apparently I'm aligning it wrong though. So this is because this is going to need to be tweaked. Honestly, we'll have to do this. So for the spell bar, we just need X and Y. I think with the height divided by 2 as well. Let's see if that works. Oops. Yeah, so now the text is on the left and then the countdown is on the right. See, that looks cleaner. And then my name needs to be on the left as well, which is, that's going to be on health. And I just need to put this so that it translates my name, text translate, is no longer on the end and no longer offsets it by width. And then, yeah, I think that'll fix it. There. So now I have my name, I have my cast bar. Go find a mob and test them. And yes, I should make it a different color. Like, LVY default walkthrough. I don't really, this looks kind of normal, I guess.
Hey everyone, it's Xcorley.
So like in this case, the cast bars below,
I'm going to walk you through the steps
normally cast bars I think are different colors with even default settings.
consolidated the essential features into
So like his is
interface
set up where it's left to right, which that's fine. But let's give it a different tint, even just slightly. Let's hop on Asprite to do that real fast. I need to move Asprite to a different directory because every time I launch it, it spins up one of my platter drives. I can hear my disk spin up, and that's why this takes forever to load. The program's fast, but not when it has to initialize a disk. So I can just take a chunk of this and then paste that. Yeah, your RGB, why can't I, there you go. And then let's just darken it a bit. Like that's fine. And then when we go to cast bars, we're just gonna put these filled rects for casting into that color. And the same for the target. And that should do it. Maybe. We'll find out. Yeah, so they're just a little darker. Obviously, the right one, I got to fix the name alignment now. So the right one, the target window, we need to make the position of the spell on target Can you figure it out for me? They got a line center. Yeah, I think that's it. Of course, it doesn't pick it up if you switch targets. Nope, we have it backwards. So the countdown needs this. And the cast name is on the other. Okay, so now the countdown needs to be aligned with primary on the end. I think that'll fix it to go left. There. It's good enough for now. I don't need it to be perfect. I plan to go raid and I wanted to have it kind of cleaned up before then. Find a warrior or shaman. Perfect. I like it. Okay. Well, it's bizarre. I guess we could go sell real quick. We're gonna sell. Let me just spot check that I don't have these in there like I do. Also, is there anything else in here I care about? I don't think so. So now we can do mass sell mode. Isn't that a satisfying sound? Cool. Let's go ahead and use secondary recall, wherever that's at. And we'll double check hitting works right real fast. There's usually a straggling mob here. So you can see here, there's something wrong with the mob being targeted. I know at one point I did this. But see, target name has to be set for this to be even populated. I don't know why it's not rendering. A little weird. I gotta think about this. Why is target name not drawing on that text field? Possible that text field is not rendering properly. Start center. This looks fine. The position of X and Y of TOP. Oh, I'm doing 2 translates on top of it. That's probably it. I don't think I need all of this anymore. Because TOP can just be X. You know, we could add the 10. That's not bad. And then divide by Y. Let's see if this works. Yeah. So now we get mob name. Obviously it just says spawn because we don't have the data until we zone. So the next cleanup I'll probably do is make it where this data that's up here, my weak auras thing, I need to make it a little cleaner on layout, like buffs on one side and debuffs on the other side, and probably like an upkeep at another location. That's kind of what I'm envisioning. I don't know if I'll ever hit the level that Elf UI does, but at least, you know, I'll try to make some of these features exposed. Oh, I have to clean up the hashtags. Which is funny. Oh, look at that. He's casting spells. Age caretakers. I didn't even know they casted. So we'll run to sleeper. Probably bazaar out. And then trying to think what else I'll fix. And I got to fix the hashtags. I probably should shrink these font sizes. Like a debris covered guardian is too big to fit in this. Not a big deal. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and flop in bazaar. And now we can go ahead and clean up buffs. I think with this cleanup, how Caspar works and stuff, we're pretty much hitting the point where this info is becoming more and more useless, which is nice. I probably should take that off. Probably should put these guys on instead. Okay. Cascade, hand. I still have that bug where when I rememorize spells, the casting on my left-hand one is off. And also the one on the right is purely based on the cast timer that's being sent. And because Kata did a hack to make it, work with spell haste, we get weird bugs with the packets. And you can literally see that when I'm trying to cast spells. Okay. So with that, we should be in good shape. Now we go ahead and bazaar back. That works pretty good. Just use bazaar and back, go to a location. When I'm done, come right back. All right, so I'm following these debuffs here. Oh yeah, casting wasn't working because there it goes. I have to con myself every time I zone. It's super annoying. And apparently the auth thing is still not working perfect because the cast bars aren't in sync.
Thanks for the follow.
Looking better. Yeah, thank you for the follow, dude. I guess another thing I should put on here for indicators is if I'm currently using auto attack or not. My buffs are broken again. Like right now I'm using rage, but you can't see it. Not fully sure why that happens. But I mean, a lot of the spells are working pretty solid. So Lure of Flame is off. Weird. Also, let's turn on EQ log parser, Gina. I need to move log parser. He's actually in a bad position now. Let's do that actually. Like damage, view, DPS, meter, setup, and then like drag. I think that does it, and then close. There we go. I probably should design a system. Well, I was gonna say like whenever a spell finishes cast and succeeds, it puts like a kind of indicator, like the bar stays solid for a second or something. But I don't think it's worth it for the effort. All right, let's put my self buff on again. Yeah, I think overall I am liking where things are going. It makes playing EQ a lot easier when all the info that really matters is front and center, kind of like WoW. There's just a lot of noise that you usually don't even care about. And if I play the game focused on the center of my screen, a little easier to stay on top of things. My DPS is a little low though. I think I didn't click Simp Strike again. Yeah, of course. At least I caught that before Sleeper. I like that my kind of weak auras revamp tells me my resists. That actually really well. And also lets me keep up with all of my spells.
Enraged.
As a necro, it's super helpful. Rude. Buffing me. Okay. Oh.
Enraged.
Yeah, so DPS went up significantly just by even tweaking what I did there. Now I know from my last fight, I don't need to hold off on all burns. I might hold off on Funeral Pyre and my Frenzy Twin Cast the last few seconds. But otherwise, I can actually go pretty safe with my burn. Definitely when I get towards that last 26%, I need to make sure I dotted the hell out of him. I didn't do that last time. Oops. I let myself get a little low there. I do like my healing is now like instant on my health bar update. That feels better. The DPS is about 1.4 with no burn going. Not bad. We're at 90%. I do need to put the percent back, I think. I don't know. I'll have to debate that still. How I want to make that work. It would be nice if I hover over here. It does give me a little bit more context. That'd be kind of cool, like mouse over text. We can go ahead and use Frenzied, I'm pretty sure. Just because. You know, add some deeps. Because we only get 60 seconds for the final kill. An improved twin cast with prolonged doesn't take that long. Oof, you're a gross agent. I might just flip over to him and kill him with the mindset that, like, there is no real rush. You know what I mean? Just stay alive and kill him. Because until Carafirm gets 26, it doesn't matter. Oops. Got a little low. Let's use Imperators and Resurgence. I'm still low. That's bad. Okay, why is my healing not working? Why is Life Tap doing, like, no healing? There we go. Oof, that was a little painful. Alright. I used a little too many buttons that I'm used to. I don't think it'll be end of the world. Gonna keep more on top of my health. Let me put some soul wells too. Rage is back up. Oof. Doing some rounds on me. Okay, so now he's getting DPS'd pretty good. I got things a little more secure. I didn't use defensive or ward yet.
Enraged.
Rage is up. Got tenacity as a no shit button still. Alright, so back to the DPS against Kara from solo. And we don't have a warder problem anymore. Let's just go ahead and dot rotate them. Did reapply buff. Oh, we lost a few actually. There we go. Then let's reapply some dots back to him. He's down to 62%. I need to make a system where when the spell has been confirmed to land, even if the spell bar is still going, it supersedes the spell bar. There's just not really a packet that confirms spell finish. There's just spell events. And I could discern that because I know the spell name of what got casted. The problem is that you can't tell the origin of a spell event. So you may get premature endings of your spell bar. Actually interesting that the client prematurely cuts off like it does, because I'm not sure what packet that is. I'm assuming it's a packet though. I might have to look into that. Hey, why are you getting rocked? You weren't doing anything to it. That was a Blade Guardian that triggered. He's at 40. Mana's getting a little low. I'm going to go ahead and use another Death Bloom. And I can click it off if he gets pretty low. Eventually, we just need to get the rotation back on him real fast. While staying alive. $34. 3, 2. For full mana, let's go ahead and click that off. 31. So I want to say, let's do like 28. And then I'll make sure he's full burned, full dotted. Okay, he is at 29. 28. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go improved, prolonged, focus. And we're just going to blow the shit out of him. I'll use Imperators if I get low while I lace big damage dots on him. I also forgot to click on Funeral Pyre, but that's alright. Let's see if we get the dragon. Breaks. Come on. Enraged. I still doing? Yeah, I'm still doing frenzied. There, no drakes. So 28%, get a full dot on them. Make sure you hit funeral pyre. Improved with prolonged. And I don't know how long that took me, but no drakes. That was a lot easier. So that worked. As to drops, we got a cleaving enchanted, which still sells for like 30k. I don't think I ever care about it. Eye patch just like 1,000 now. This is trash. We sell it. Crystal ring 500. I mean, not horrible resist. Boots of the Ancients is an interesting item. We now have this eye, which we got to look up. Pretty much everything else is cash drops. Yeah, a little slow, but it was clean. I need to double check what the ring from the Sleepers 2.0 is. Pretty sure none of this sells, fortunately. But done. Okay, then we're gonna do some merchanting. Still debating what I'll do about. What early AAs did I pick up for this build? Very first AA I built with was Cascaded Decay, because it was only 6 AAs and had a really big payoff, especially early levels. I got that at like level 35 or so. In fact, I went 1 to 35, got those 6 AAs for Cascade, and then leveled all the way to 50, and didn't bother with any other AAs until I hit 50. And then I wrote a guide for the necro portion at least. I don't think I've written one for my full build yet. But this is probably helpful. But anyways, that was mission accomplished. As to next steps, we got a few options. We could go to actually might go ahead and do like partners. And is the captain up? Doesn't look like he is. Unless height filter. No. Oh yeah, he is up. Never mind. Go get the captain. Hello. Time for you to die. Lupine dagger. Womp womp. One thing I was thinking is whenever I do this clear, I should go into the basement. Am I struggling with the base? This isn't the basement. Isn't it like right here though? And it's just like run around, grab all the decayed prisoners. Second floor. Corridors. Turn off labels because they're getting annoying with how big they are. No. I just knew that the basement has a lot of mobs. Kind of why I did this. And like once you get into these corridors, it's actually pretty easy to aggro them, you know? And then once they're all aggroed, why are we not? Oh, let's just take it back down. Let's go ahead and try to return. Or we can just die. Oh, I don't have my A's up. Of course I don't. I have that habit of not. Not that it matters, I got. I'm gonna reset crit sprinkler. You know, we've made 3,000 plat, but let's go ahead and reset it real quick before I die. Crit sprinkler. And that's just so we can keep track of the money we make. Because I normally don't bother clearing the basement, but I thought it might be insightful to see how much money I make. I'm a little slower because I didn't load my... But not that it matters. Just a lot of loot spamming. I don't want you to... Get back here. Come on. Now we can load the AEs real quick. Another thing I kind of want to add is a killer ID def event where I can count the number of kills I've done in a zone. That could be cool. But not really part of the different windows I just made. Okay, so how do we get out of here? I'm assuming here. No. Let's turn off height filter. That's a mess. There's two ways here. Here's some stairs. There we go. This is another way up too, right? Random cursed hand over there though. Might be easier for me just to evac than figure out my way. Because I know that you can backtrack through the entryway, but A lot of dead ends from the basement. Maybe it's in the water. Try to go through the water here. Taking you back outside. That worked. That wasn't too bad. Am I still floating? Yes. Okay, good. Then here's the Tranquil Staff spot. So now we just go upstairs. Use real fast, just go there. Quick grabbing of these mobs. That one's one way. Does that connect? Only 3 mobs over there. Here, over here. And get the room over here. There's quite a few over here. And the same with these little corridors. Pretty sure they aggro easily. Okay. Now we do the big guy. No gloves. My only money from this pole was just clearing the zone. We'll see how much money I made. Wasn't a full zone clear, but Carnage is kind of hard to mass train. There's a lot of nooks and crannies. And I also didn't bother with the Drovorgs because I actually have good faction with them. I only slay the captain. Okay, let's go sell. Just double checking. I don't see anything of note. So it's going to say 711. So 711 plus 37. Going to be 748-ish. Yeah, you can, yeah, 748. That was pretty close. So the full clear there gave me just under a couple thousand plat. That really wasn't that great for the effort, but it works. I feel like fear is a little bit better. I'll do fear and hope that we get a cool shawl of protection would be good. Why didn't you ready? Okay. We have our A's loaded, so we should be good to go. So if I see Dracolich on the way, I'll just snipe him real quick. I didn't see him though. That's fine. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to put down a ward of destruction early. We're also start AoEing shit sooner than later. And I'll get interrupted a lot, and that's fine. As I get interrupted, if I ever get below like 40, I should just flop. Like now. Oh, no, I got it. Yeah, I didn't even use anything that time. It just has to do with if I get unlucky with how they summon me. That's what kills me. I'm going to flop and watch what happens. They all go after my ward, and that'll give me time to channel. Trying to get a little struggle, getting below 40. Wouldn't flop, even though they died right when I did that. Corpse fix. What? Another flop needed, getting a little low. And unfortunately, Draco did not drop Shawl. So for my artisan seal, I actually need to get some words. Pretty sure it's words of Beza. So I do need to be a little attentive on the words I'm picking up. In fact, we'll keep those just in case. Oh, I have boat strings on my hand. Why is this fetid fiend? Oh, he's just smacking my ward. So he's not in range. Anywho. I'm confused why I have all this loot. Ew. Okay. I think there was a couple of corpses to loot. What do you guys think? So amulet, probably just worth selling. I have so many of them. I don't think there's anything I care about in all of those shit that drop. So that's going to be 3,700 plat. Not too shabby. Combine that with 13. I love how that sounds, by the way. Cling, cling, cling. Then it adds it all up, and then it takes all the gold and throws it up into the plat. And then we just follow it up with destroys. So I was supposed to make it where whenever you killed like Faradar and everything, it's supposed to make a sound event. It's just not working for some reason. I need to debug that at some point. Double checking none of these sell for plat, which they don't. Okay. Yeah. Mission accomplished. I love the Velius helms. I already know though that the female Dark Elf helm is ugly as fuck. What I should do at one point is load that in and 3D model it and make my own custom helm. The question is, if I did that, what should I make it based on? Like, what helm would I make it instead? This helm doesn't have a graphic. But that's another project for another day. Someone saved me from my own hoarding. You're funny. I'm almost at 200,000 plat, which is kind of nuts. I haven't been doing a lot of merchant selling. In fact, I think I might almost have it. Let's see. Nope. 199871. So. Close. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to work on is actually kind of not related to the stuff I've been working on while on stream today. The bin directory should have been ignored. I don't know why we're having files in there being versioned. It's a little weird. But basically, the thing I want to work on is my dynamic folder project. Oh man. I've been getting a little overkill with it on like milestones, and that's partly why I'm taking longer than usual. But I would love to get this closer to completion. Because what it's doing if we go to C drive, games EQ, Jamfest, this folder right here is an EverQuest folder. You'll notice there are no S3Ds on the root directory. And I have some INI files that aren't loading properly. And that's part of what I'm trying to fix, is make it where all INI files are loaded. Oh, that's right. There's a few assets that it wants in root, and I've been trying to bypass it. And that's why you're getting all these errors. Definitely need to clean up my pipeline a little bit on how I'm working on this. What we can do though is we can go to ROF2 or Jamfest folder. I don't actually have that as a folder. So this has the debug log, right? But we also have this. And if we look for the core pattern, these are all events. So you can see here, even when that failed, I have all these new detours I've been applying. By the way, I don't like the applying gamma error. Or the capitalization. Let's fix that too. Just doing that. Just one of those things, you know, that kind of annoys me. Okay. Cleaned up house a little bit there. So what's happening is we're detouring all these things. Detouring. You can see that we're routing a lot of file opens now. And I was actually working on getting EQ main to properly what? Oh, weird. Because there's a corrupted database store for some reason. You know, trying to make it where all the file open events, we're going to load, it was like sload or sopen. Oh, I was just working on this. I think I now put it on each of the events when I load them. So if you look here, and you look at here, I have this call to sub, which is actually the load trampoline. I was doing some variations of this. Apparently this isn't on EQ main. This is badly labeled. Was it F open? Yeah. So this hook is supposed to be doing all these routings. And I've also been working on getting eDrive bin procmon. I have a bunch of filters on this file. Hey, 2 chords. So this is a dynamic folder override that I've been working on. Oh, it didn't save all of my options. Did it? Oh yeah, it did. Never mind. You can see here, when you load EverQuest, this is actually telling you every create file event, and I have it filtered now for name not found. EQLS news is why that's not there. That's part of the EULA actually. That's license text. I was trying to clean it up and technically certified it. Games EQ Jamfest EQ. And what we can just do is say like license, copy this over. There's like a EQLS news and string. I copy these over. I'm trying to dynamically load these, but they're part of EQ main DLL, and the fopen call on that is not honoring properly. So you can see it's still doing relative directory. So now you get the EULA, and it should be the same when I log in now. Oh, it still says string not found. We get the news event though. Speaking of, is just update eqlsnews.txt the events. Because when you do that, well, I'm curious. Let's test that actually. Let's do January 1st, 2025. Did some cool stuff, yo. I'm kind of curious how the EQLS parser picks that up. Come on. Yeah. I was sharing that because he was thinking of like writing this huge revamp into the patcher, and I'm just like, fuck that. Just use the news thing on login. You get it once every time you log in, and basically just notifies of changes. So this is still crashing, and I bet you it's because I don't have EQUI and some of these key assets in here. Because again, I don't dynamically load it. In fact, if we go into the watcher, this EQ string failing here, that's one of the critical ones. It like silently fails whenever that file doesn't exist there. So I'm trying to override the load caller to make it dynamically support it so I can keep the root directory clean. But I'm there's some hooks that I'm messing up the offsets on. Let's see if it loads now. Or do we still crash? We might still crash. If it's not EQUS, could be the DB string, and it could be spells. Those two files also are needed. It's still failing. So, and we actually crashed, which makes sense. We're doing some weird shit. So let's do DB string. Let's do spells. And let's see if that's enough. We're not getting the splash. We got an access violation error. Interesting. Can't really tell what it was for. It was loading some assets. We can go to check out DB debug and see what if it gives us any intel. So we're actually all the way up to rendering the 3D engine. You might have broken your bank tab on ShinSpark. Or are you using GearScore yet? GearCore. I think I saw your stream recently and you weren't, so I was just curious. See, it seems to be loading pretty far on the pipeline now. I must have missed a file. That's what this thing comes in handy for, is that all the read events, like EQ device wasn't found. That could be a critical one. No. Macros advanced. I don't know if that one's going to be. Heck, I don't even think that works. Line LS. Gotcha. So it just depends on which one you're playing. EQLS client. Didn't we just add that? Yeah. No, we didn't. Let's put that in there too. Never mind, we did. Let's see if that's enough. This, by the way, is Visual Studio. It is the professional way to do C++ editing in Windows, or compiling of C++ code. Let's see if we can get past. I've done it before. I don't know why we're getting access violations. It's probably my hook triggering and then doing so in invalid memory is what's probably happening here. So if we go to core load and we comment out like this and possibly this, it might fix the bug. Or it might be main load. I feel like main load's fine though. Maybe not though. We'll see. Yeah, no worries, broken. I need to, at some point, like, you know, because I don't have enough projects, write an updater as well. So if that's still failing, let's add this as well. Technically could also be main file open. I haven't been keeping track of which ones I've changed or not. I've just sort of whimsically been prototyping. I'm pretty sure this access violation has to do with my hook. It's triggering and then causing a read access failure. But no, we're still not getting. You can see though, we're panicking on EQ. Which implies I'm doing an override with it. I can't easily see my change history because I wasn't versioning things. It was not smart of me. So here's the dynamic folders. Here's my init that injects it with the new load file. The load file has no versioning at all. I did bump this down to 142 and change the directory, as well as add the core. I think I only want to stage this file though. I turn this off inline mode. Stage just this, right? Perfect. And then these are just some typo fixes. Minor. This was just another typo fix. I didn't like that it wasn't comma delimited. This adds new offsets. Is there a hotkey to just turn off the bank? You can toggle bank windows with Control-Shift-B. I don't know the hotkey by default. I don't think there is a hotkey by default. There's like a toggle bag. Mine, it's Control-Shift-V. I don't even see an UI. Okay, where's control shift? Or is it shift control? There. There's Bank's bag toggle. I set that, but somehow my entire bank window is just gone. Your bank window. Are you talking about like this literal window has poofed? I mean, if you can't get that to appear, you can go to EQ and then go to, is there a bank window? I don't know. It's one of those windows that gets invoked. You could just / exit and it won't save your INI. Plykin, this is the hero's journey. I think is right there, right? Oh no. I'm in transparency mode. You can't see me. There you go. The hero's journey is where I'm at. Yeah. But I'm also just coding right now, kind of generically across all servers. Let's do some breakpoints. Maybe we can debug it that way. The fwrite and load are breakpointed right now, and they've never been getting called. So we're gonna say that fwrite not used yet. And same with load. Root sfs open. I don't know if this is working or not. Do some breakpoints and we can validate this. All right, so main file open is fine. It's probably badly named as well, but whatever. So game starts. The client DB file works fine. All right, so graphics EQ load works fine. And so does graphics file load. We're actually getting a load screen. You just can't see it because the window's full screen. And now we crashed. So we know that stat should be okay. Let's look at our calls. So we know that file open from main is all good. And we know that stat32 is fine. And stat is fine as well. It's path stat. That's interesting. What is path stat? That's just main stat. We should honestly change. No, it's because it's an override. Okay. So we know those work fine. What about graphics? We have file load, which is pretty much these. What's up, Harambe? You ever fine-tune your armor augs? Yeah, I'm working on it. They're not fine-tuned. They're just, again, that's pretty much the only thing I have to do left. I'm basically just going through, getting solstice earrings, getting them legendary. I need to go to Nadox and farm the abominables still. I'm at 611 spell damage. I have some slots that are empty, mainly because I'm just waiting on my Crown of Ryle to come back. And then I got a bunch of intellect dogs. This one needs int dogs. I'll probably end up replacing the slot 1 with an intellect dog. I think I have enough on some of my Viz slots. Or did I move them out? I think I might have moved them out. Yep. You finally killed Vulak and AW. Congrats, dude. Or wait, you're talking Stoic. Got it. Right on. Doing the spike draw. Graphics file open. I think it's fine. The strings, I don't think either of these work, so might have to tweak that later. But yeah. Why am I getting a notification? Oh, somebody went through the front door. Anyways, we have a crash. We're not fully sure why. Let's go ahead and assume these two files are also broken. I should actually load MQ to allow me to, or better yet, I know, ADD, write a system so I can auto log in. It'd be cool to just have it where I add a new argument command and all it does. Yeah, see, EQ main is still panicking. Very interesting. I don't know why. Let's do this. We're going to flush this and we're going to retry. We're only going to watch this for indicators of where this crash is happening. Because we can see it's doing a pretty good job loading everything. We're getting pretty far down the list, and then we crash. We'll turn off capturing, go to the bottom. So it's at macros users. I wonder if these macros, they're not even used. What about AVLS? Not used. EQP config, it's not used. Why are we getting a crash? I had this further before. There's things like race data, which I don't know if that's ever found. That might be a big impact. Spells, new. Could have an impact. Defaults. There's honestly a bunch of files in here. And like any of them could be a critical file that's crashing it. We'll see if this works though. Nope. So we have an access violation when this data is getting moved on this address. Problem is we don't really have any sort of data informing us. Let's let it continue and see if we can get it to crash. Let's see what Copilot says even. I doubt it's going to have any intel. Yeah, that's about as generic of a error as possible. I mean, we're putting a bunch of log events in here. Hmm. I could try loading a different server. I think that'll matter. I could try. I'll double check my debug log again. I could copy all my files into there, but I don't want to do that. Been trying to get it so I'm like granularly accessing every file, but I think the real issue is we're not getting all the log events traced, and so it's hard to identify everything. Can I copy everything in here? Not cleanly. All right. Let's turn off some filters. Like those. The one issue is because I'm in game, I'm spamming my logs a lot. Data. Because EverQuest is actually very spammy. But we can tell Jamfest was loading UI files towards the end. And the UI config as well, which we know that the config file is there, right? EQLS UI config. We also know this was after the UIs. Still reporting UI errors, but there's none reported. EQ device, we definitely put in there. Do we not have EQ? We do have EQ host. We have voice chat. So when we're loading all these S3Ds, we do have a texture.txt file. Which we already copied. Environment emitters, and the .eedds, actor emitters, and environment emitter. Bells new. Already been copied. Animation set. Looks like was never actually got copied. EQ options. It's not even a file that's loaded. Bells, I think that one is subdirectory. It is optional. Let's test that. Let's see if one of those files traced it.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Not really though. Yeah, we're still getting the... What we should try is just booting it without using the debugger and see if we can get more data about what happened. You're all good, Walrus. That does a similar error where you don't get any intel. It just tries to parse and then just exits. I know load screen and resources is all here, right? Ah. Let's try re-adding resources. Maybe that's the issue. I don't think resources has been overridden properly. Resources has a lot of data that's kind of hard-coded in EQ main and until, yeah, see now we're getting load screens because those don't get overridden dynamically yet. We're still crashing. EQ main is missing data that it really wants. The Terrace Thule one. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I would also love to inject a log event system. Maybe I could work on that. That would be cool. Maybe I can add that in. So we're going to go to, I know this project in general is just sort of like for fun. We want one. There's a wood elf for the ranger epic that you meet and you think you love her more. I like Lannis. Even though the late, have you seen the latest Lannis? It's Lannis Teville fight. I did Teville wrong. That's classic. I want the most recent EQ. Nobody ever shows. It's called a Torment of Vishan, or no, Shadows of Lucklin Lannis fight. Is it Terror of Lucklin or Shadows of? I feel like it's Shadow. There's the missions. Where is she? Does it even show her on the video? Plane of Shadow stuff looks pretty cool. Where is she? They didn't even show her. They also have the textures low. Funny. Yeah. TOL. This doesn't look like it either. Dude, Nodine has footage that they've uploaded on YouTube about it. It's sad. Maybe Lannis is not part of Terror of Lucklin. Because you just fight Autenhara. That's the old model. There's another version of her. Then there's a version in the Void. You fight Lannis often, but I'm actually looking for the really badass version of her. Is she not in there? There's like a multi-session event. And this highest level one's only 110. Have you guys played? Does anyone play Latest Live at all? Am I missing something? Let me think about this. If we go to Steam and we go to EverQuest and then we go to, what is her name? There's this boss dark elf chick. And I thought it was Lannis, like a remake of her. But if we do it by like date modified and we scroll to the bottom and then like scroll up slowly, we'll hit some cool in-era junk. Oh, it's Lucklin herself. She's like a chick. Why did I think she was Lannis? For the Lucklin fight. Isn't that what she is? This her? There we go. So it's Lucklin. She looks pretty badass. She was in Fear? Doesn't sound right. I thought she was later. Seriously. Alright, so Reign of Fear, Lucklin fight. Why did I think she was like part of the latest shit? You can find video footage of her fight. I mean, I kind of wish his UI was visible, but I think that's her. We get to see a skirt. Do you actually view the character at one point? With the bazillion... Heck, I don't even know where his target window is. Lucklin, the Avatar of Darkness. I should just hop on live and go raid her real quick. Because if she's Reign of Fear, I could raid her. Let's look at the trailer. That technically means she's in Plane of Shadow, though. That means that she is not in our client, because ROF2 doesn't have Heart of Shadows, or whatever it's called, which was like a DLC that was released right after. Like Heart of Shadow EverQuest. Right, but I'm mainly just wanting to
Thanks for the follow. The underscore walrus 87.
get some footage of it. Right. But it was called like Heart of Shadows DLC or something like that. Not DLC, but it was like an expansion. What was the release of that? Heart of Fear. That's what it was. Heart of Fear. EverQuest release. All right. So this is missing on our client. We were right before this. And this also introduced the
False god, can you truly fear that which you call by name? You prayed to it, built temples to honor it, sacrificed your eyes for it. You made Kazakh rule familiar, and the familiar fear cannot compare to the terror of the unspoken.
yeah, those class specific weapons is the isn't that the purple ones? I forget what they're called.
Beyond sight, beyond hearing, beyond belief, beyond your deepest fears and darkest imaginings, I wait for you.
There you go. The purple weapon she was using.
Beyond all reason and madness. Lose yourselves in me, creatures born into fear. I am your life bringer now, and your essence the
I'm assuming this ends with Lucklin herself.
day in my darkness. Your wrath will never again hold any
Because why does the Plan of Shadow have Lucklin? It doesn't. All right, Koro. Okay, so you do her before Heart of Shadow. What zone is she in? You guys know? So what you're telling me though is that Plane of Shadow. So, okay, I'm confused. Because look, if you go to a vanilla EverQuest client and you go PO Shadow, oh, it is there. I thought Plane of Shadow didn't come out until after Reign of Fear 2. I think this client, I'm accessing Jamfest. I don't know if that database has Shadow on it though. Is she also in Terra of Lucklin? Dynamis? Is there like an upgraded model of her or something? All right, so we're gonna go to Zone PO Shadow. Yeah, see, it's not in the database by default. I've injected it before. I just don't know. Do I have Heidi on here? No. How do I get? I'm gonna have to go on my laptop. One sec. I'll be back. The raid fight, Lucklin, specifically the NPC called Lucklin. She's the boss of Planet. So my knowledge is all over the place because I never did the raid in Reign of Fear. So I'm all over the place. The knowledge here. All right, so we're in this database now. That is this server. And what I'm going to do is find, I feel like Guck Bottom. And we're going to copy it. Or specifically clone it. Just give it the next ID. Go find the zone ID number. Plane of Shadow is 746 or 764. I don't know if our client supports it by default or not. Find out very. Plane of Shadow. Plane of Shadow. Done. Inserted. Apply. Might have to restart the server, but we'll find out pretty quick. Zone to plane of shadow, please. Yeah, we're still not working. I think it's like reload zone. Also, I want to make you full screen. Thank you. Reload. I don't think that's going to work though. Oh, maybe it is. So it's attempting to load plane of shadow right now. And I have no idea what I've missed because I don't know if the client supports it, and I also don't know if we're obviously frozen right now, which is a sign things are wonky. Let's go to logs, double check real fast. Plane of shadow, so it did the zone request, and we're frozen. It doesn't even tell us why. Yeah, we never got the zone request load. That could either be because our client actually doesn't support it. But that seems weird because the asset was sitting in the directory. I guess I can double check a clean copy real fast. So if we go to like Jamfest and then, come on, ROF2, is plane of shadow in here? It is. That means the client should support it. I guess if I go to core zone and we look at the IDs, I'm pretty sure the last ID that's supported is in here. No. I think it's in options. I have a note in here. So this is mentioning for zone entry 787. And shadow was 764. Yeah, so it should be in the list. I'm not sure why we crashed, but we'll assume it's something else and attempt it again. Because we added the zone data, the client should support the zone. We're also going to double check the character assets that are getting loaded in the zone, which usually plane of shadow character should have LU. There we go. These are what I'm looking for. Man, I don't know why, but I thought those were, I think it's because I didn't find those assets until after. One is unavailable. Ooh. Interesting. Let's SSH onto the server and see what that request really. That's Jamfest. We can restore the screen. We're using overseas, which means go to the zone directory. We should see. We have 48 sleeping zones, so that's not why. It spun up the zone, but our client let's see. Zone 60, it's just not found. Okay, so we're just going to restart the server. That's not a big deal. We'll be disconnected. So Jamfest is a server I made for fun at one point. It's kind of nice for like progression review. But I use it as a test box. And I'm pretty sure the zone mechanic wasn't properly reloaded in game. So just restarting the server is the easiest way. Now we're back in the arena. Or I guess we got yeeted back to the arena. Let's go ahead now and zone the plane of shadow and see if we actually succeed. Looks like we did, potentially. All right, let's go to 000. Let's turn on display. Fix the resolution real quick. All right, so here is the plane of shadows. Now, the render distance is a little shitty. The model ID. So what's the easiest way to spawn her? It's probably just going to be hashtag spawn Lucklin and her race ID. Sorry. Because this zone is unpopulated. Yes, variances. We have 724. Okay, so her race is 724. What are the next options? Her level is 100, let's say. Her texture is 0. Health is 100, and gender is 1, or probably 2. She's not loading. I don't think it matters. We can see here that the asset is being loaded, LUC. So, and we can see here her race is Lucklin. So let's try spawn from her variances. So there's like 728, also not spawning. What about 729 or 730? Ooh, that's an interesting model. This was the orb. Oh, that is actually normal. 731. She probably has a option in her, and she's just not honoring it right now. Her gender could be different. There she is. So she's gender 1. And here's her different versions of her model, because when you fight her, she actually has different phases. But here we go. This is what I was really after. I just wanted to show her. And I can actually call her to do animations now. She has social animations that are actually really cool with where she does like audio narration. Like she's a whole sequence, but yeah, she has 2 phases. And she's also like sitting down initially. One of her animations makes her stand. So like her quested event, what she does is she's sitting down in her like whatever, her bench. And then when the event starts, you guys probably know it better, she stands up and it actually does a race change when that happens. It changes her model from this to her standing one. And then I believe she also has an animation that makes her transform. So like she's a very complicated EverQuest model, which is partly why I was like, wow, this is an impressive, you know, coming from a coder's perspective, an impressive variation of her. So Let's summon her. And if we do on demand, she would actually be usable. I'm going to tell, oop. I'm going to tell Kata that we need to add Lucklin into something. I don't think she has a walking animation. Let's actually test that. So if we become race, shit, what are the numbers again? 24 is the sitting one. Gender 1. Oh, she's a full-blown animation. I want to be Lucklin. Let's see. I could actually add animations for her too. Let's see if she has texture variations. I don't think she does. Oh, interesting. If she texture swaps, she changes to the different model. But it's like a variation of it. No, it's the dark mode version. What about, let's do some like, I can look her up. I really need to fix Quail, by the way, to work with EKGs. Her skin mesh is actually custom. I'm pretty sure. So she's missing a lot of her animations though, which is a bit of a bummer. So some other models that are in this zone and are unique are, I think I can just cycle the ones that are in that range. Like, is 722 in here? This is the hand. We already know the hand. Freaking Dervish. That'd be a fun pet class. Or a pet model, since we don't have enough obnoxious ones. $732 is a Pegasus that apparently has no model. $723. Thought that one would be here, but I guess it's because these are actually. We got the flying carpet. We already know this guy. And the fire beetle. And the whole Gresh upgrade. And the mounted helmet, or deer head. Now we're just getting into the toys. Here's the Pegasus. And here's some of the weird dudes that are in the zone. A little wind-up toy. My favorite 666 though. 666, funny looking. Not my gun drop buttons. I definitely at some point want to start adding new. Ooh, he has a jump animation. That's cool. Oh, that's actually a fun jump animation. He's just like boing, super jump. I didn't even know that. I know she has some cool, unique animations though that make her stand. But this is stuff that I plan to work on soon with Quail. Because I don't think Sage can support it yet. Because I don't think he even has shadow. I mean, he reports a lot. But he actually misses shadow. I wonder what expansion he thinks that's in. Yeah, see there's no plane of shadow in here. Let's try like Argoth. I'm just curious. Oh, I want his model viewer though. Do. See, he doesn't know Plane of Shadow still. But let's do like Argoth, because that's around the same era. Let's see if he can load the assets in here. So Argoth will have the Akivan dudes. We can look at the log file to figure that out, which is in here. So some custom models here would be the Allah. And he doesn't have it in here. He's got pretty limited support. In fact, I think he only loads S3Ds right now. I don't think he has EQGs even on the model exporter right now. Yeah, you can tell these are all classic models. That's Lucklin, but that's still considered classic in my opinion. Not to say there's anything bad what he's made, it's just a little sad that we don't have. I need to test his 3D printing at some point, by the way, because I'll put him up behind my green screen or something. Quailview should be able to view that stuff, but Quailview is old code. I don't think I even have it installed. Heck, I don't even have a compiled copy in releases. Looks like I have the repository cloned still. Let's try running it and see if it, heck, the last file I was using was Lucklin. A year ago. There you go. So yeah, I can load assets with my old school EQG loader. Pretty sure I never fixed the animation, so you can also see I have a texture problem with it being yellow. But technically, we also can run LU2 and see what that looks like. So this one, she's supposed to be sitting. We just don't have the sit animation. Again, looks identical. What about 4? This is the one that I think goes black with the transparency. There you go. He comes built in with a weapon. That's kind of cool. You can see the transparency in her. Obviously the renderer on my little app is not perfect, but interesting. So this is my old copy of Quail. I refactored Quail and turned it so that you can mod files with it easier. But still kind of cool that it works with EQGs. What we should do for fun is let's take some of the latest files that are EQG in here. Like there's some jade glasses, MWO. Where is this? This is just grabbing it from EQ. Let's just take MWO. Let's take a peek at some of the assets. So I guess they revamped. I recognize this one. That doesn't seem new. I don't know what that is even. Is that a weapon? Yeah, it doesn't even load. Let's try toe. Well, it won't load if I didn't copy it. I think I did. Maybe I didn't. Oh, this is a zone. You can tell because look how long it's taking to load. We'll give it a moment. Let's go grab a new file. Because that's taking too long. There you go. Some sort of building. Why is this a weapon? Interesting. That could be like a heroic piece of gear. That's what they do sometimes. CA2, it's 10 megs, geez. Let's try MCP. Apparently already exists. Which means it's not a new model. Probably just like a refactor. They cleaned it up. This is their magic carpet. MCP, magic carpet. So they must have did like a tweak at some of their assets. OBG. Anyways, I'm just tangenting at this point. I should just hop off stream and do ROF2 plus stuff. But interesting model. Is this the brood? Yeah, these are the dragons. The new Broodland dragons. As you can tell because they have the double wings. And interesting how my renderer goes with it. It's also funny that my renderer that I wrote a couple years ago still fully works with the latest EQ assets. Find that funny? So we know though that like OBG is a new EverQuest asset. You can try like SWM for fun. A lot of those bugs with like texture rendering and stuff, that has to do with just how I load things. Interesting model. Like, my code was pretty imperfect at this point. It was very hacked together and it needed a lot of TLC. I was trying to get bones to work, but never did get that successful. Anywho, we're going to end the stream, I think. I'm going to go work on ROF2 Plus. But it was fun. Play around, look at Lucklin. I think she's one of my favorite models. She looks pretty good. I think she's a badass looking dark elf thing. There you go. You can definitely see the weapon she has equipped. What happens if you give her a weapon? I don't think she shows it. Let's see. Wear change 7 on my elf. And we'll put on something like, I think 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's just a little stick. I put that on her. Oh. She just wears it on top of her other weapon. So she just has 2 weapons. What about her offhand? Same thing. Just puts them on. Doesn't even hold them properly. Like they never actually put the bone in the right place. Because it wasn't wasn't made for it. Interesting. What happens if I give the orb weapons? He doesn't have a bone point, so the model doesn't even render it. Sneaky walk back. Is that what the orb is supposed to look like, by the way? That's a very weird animation. Oh, we found one of its death's animations. It glows more, and there's a light one and a dark one. Oh, that's probably texture changes. He's also probably using the wrong gender. No, he's a 2. So there's the dark one. Is this the light one? It's probably just the particles are messed up. Maybe I have all my particles on. Yeah, for some reason the particle effects aren't working, but you can cause the dark to work. Imagine with the proper shader, you don't see the there it is. 16, kaboom. Let's go play 16 on these guys. Time to die. Time to die. What happens if you kill one sitting? It's ignored. She has no death animation. And of course, I do a twirl before I flop. What zone is that from? Isn't the gingerbread man actually used in a zone? Figure that. The gingerbread man 666. What's his model ID? GBM. Is he in Morel's? That's what I was gonna say. What is Morel Castle? Oh, it's the full world. I don't I think ours is actually populated, by the way, which is fun. I really like Reign of Fear, by the way. You can see there's the quest merchants. We actually have movement too. We got packet data on how to relocate mobs, the marionettes. And if you go up that way, that takes you to that one place. Then over here is where all the crazy cartoony looking dudes are. When you go down this way to the left of here. See? And I would imagine the gingerbread man would be in here somewhere. A candy cane hoarder. Decrepit. Was the mercenary in here though? Is this the right area? There it is. We found it. It's funny. See, this was the goal with Jamfest, was I really wanted to actually allow people to explore these zones on EverQuest private servers. The problem is there's just so much work that needs to be done to get these cleaned up and usable. But, you know, it's fun to look at assets. It would also be fun to create like a low poly version of all this too. You have the whole like drunken pirate, or not drunken, sunken ship area over here. But anyways, fun times. I think I'm going to end it. I know I said that earlier, but yeah, really going to do this. Let me see if anyone's even... But yeah, thanks for hanging out. Thank you for your guys' knowledge on the various expansions and content. Let's raid Prime Time. Yeah. Prime Time looks like a Prime Time. The frame rate is so horrible when I'm not in focus because I have this option, the wrong setting. There we go. Yeah, no worries, Virus. Well, I was actually super productive in the last 24 hours. I did a ton of work on ROF2 Plus, as well as Quail. We're doing this huge tree revamp, and it's going... We're getting to a point where it's going to be pushed into the main branch. And I think when I finish Quail of UCE support for SRD, we'll move over to EQG and start trying to get better support on all. And definitely want to get RF2 Plus done. And dynamic folders, that's what's going to really enable client modding. I don't know if you're familiar with my client mods where you just drag drop those SRD. That works, but a bit tacky. There's ways to make that more elegant. And that's what I'm hoping to do with dynamic folders. I should actually rein it in and just focus on asset loading from different directories. You know, take a smaller milestone and accept that as okay. So, but yeah, that should be soon. All right, where's prime time?